Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalrin, and in today's video we'll be exploring one of the parts of the new expansion, Battle for Azeroth. I want to cover this whole expansion, at least what we know so far, in bits and pieces, just to give you guys as many videos to look for if you look for something particular, whether it be PvP, the new artifact type of mechanic, the races and whatnot. So a lot of these videos are going to be split up, but in today's video we'll be talking on something specific. So the Heart of Azeroth will be the new artifact type of weapon system. We're not quite sure exactly what will happen to our artifact weapons after Legion and transition into Battle for Azeroth, but Blizzard said that we're basically going to put them away on the side, kind of like store them in a shed. So I don't think we'll be destroying them, and I'm pretty sure everybody who's been able to get the artifact weapon skins as well as recolors will have them added into a transmog selection for your character. So while we might not actually be using the weapons, we still might have them somewhere in our bank inventory, maybe in void storage if we do keep them. And even if we don't keep them, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to keep all of the skins. So I wouldn't honestly worry too much about artifact weapon. I'm honestly going to be fine once it's gone. But the Heart of Azeroth will be a little bit different in terms of a item. It'll be a necklace, and it'll be basically buffing itself up a lot like the artifact weapon system with the new way of grinding the new type of AEP. So it will be granted to us by Magni, who says, hey, Heart of Azeroth, here you go. Azeroth is kind of bleeding all over the place, so you gotta go and collect the azurite that's bleeding and consume it in order to grow in power. So that's what we'll be doing, is we'll be collecting a lot of azurite to buff up our Heart of Azeroth necklace. Azurite will be the stuff seeping from the ground, basically the lifeblood of our planet Azeroth. Gaining Azurite causes the heart to unlock various different rings that have different abilities, and every time you loot an item, you can just continue on, your heart stays the same, and you can keep moving forward. So this isn't going to be one of those processes where you have to run back to your order hall and go put the points in, and go back to questing, get a little bit of OP, oh you got a point, go back to your order hall. So it'll kind of just be a little bit of a smoother system where you don't really need to go out of your way to really upgrade it. It'll be a lot more baked into, I guess, the gameplay of it. The strength of the individual Azurite power is determined mostly by the item level of how strong of an abilities you get. So that, yeah, of course, the higher item level means you're doing more with the character. So then there's still that, you know, progression system, but it's mostly dedicated towards how the gear and the necklace interact instead of that weapon that you have to keep, you know, building up and going back to your building and buffing, building and buffing, building and buffing, which will be, I guess, that part isn't that bad now, because I'm rarely ever getting a chance to put yet another point into concordance. But with this, you'll be able to kind of do things on the fly without having to go to some area in order to buff your stuff. An example that came from Blizzard is the Heart of Azeroth, let's say, has a power of 20, which unlocks 2 different rings on the neck piece. The third power level requires level 21. Each ring gives you a few choices of various abilities to empower, such as maybe increased movement speed or a damage reduction on some of your defensives. When you unlock the new ring, you get to choose between several different abilities to empower, and the choices will always be individual, and new choices are made throughout the expansion. So for example, every piece of gear will almost have a handcrafted choices that you can use of that same name. So for example, if you have a tier for LFR, heroic, a normal part of a raid, all those tiers will have the same choices, but like a mythic version, for example, will have stronger, better choices. Leveling choices, let's say you have one type of leveling gear in terms of like your early levels, you get some choices, and then towards your level 120, around maybe 118, you'll get an upgrade for your shoulders, and they'll give you different upgrades because it has a different name for the shoulders. It won't be the same name or the same style. Maybe you do the PvP side, you go PvP gear, now you have different upgrades. You maybe go do Mythic Plus and you get the shoulders from there, now you get a different upgrade. So you can like mix and match your gear, and this stuff isn't going to be RNG. Apparently it's all going to be handcrafted, so you can choose how you can develop your playstyle as your character, as your class. We're not sure exactly how much of an advantage this is going to give us. I don't know if it's going to be like a damage increases like the let's say artifact relics for artifact weapons, or if it's going to be more utility stuff, defensive stuff, self-healing stuff. Maybe like some burst window stuff, maybe more proc chances. We don't know exactly how this is going to go completely, but we do know that it's going to be very customizable, supposed to be a lot simpler and easier to follow than the artifact weapon system, supposed to give the player a lot more control, going to be a lot less RNG, and supposed to make a lot more sense as it is the model of the artifact weapon. And what is good about it, like the constant progression, you can always technically keep getting better, minus the grind aspect. adds in the more talent choice customization options without being, you know, like the original WoW talents that we had back in the day, which were a little bit confusing to some people. But it doesn't have that artifact weapon linear progression. Because with the linear progression, at first you get some choices, you know, with the first raid tier, but after you unlock the whole weapon, it doesn't matter what were your initial options, what you put your points into. So it doesn't have that whole, oh, eventually just unlock everything and then you'll just have that one point that you keep farming into for the rest of your life. Instead, it actually gives you options of how you want to play your class and play your spec. So it gives you a lot more variety, and because it's not RNG, it's not like you'll just have to farm the same piece of gear again and again and again until you get the right stats. It's all handcrafted from the beginning, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of work for the developers to do, and we won't really know exactly fully how this works until we get our hands on the beta. So as soon as I get the beta, if I do get one, then I'll make an updated video for you guys. Anyway, this is everything about Heart of Azeroth. This system is going to be new, so I'm just going to try to update you guys as best as I can in order to give you guys the information that you need in order to understand the system as soon as possible. Again, we don't have all the information on it just yet, and we will know a lot more in the future, but this is what we got so far. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the update. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, as I'm trying to grow my channel with the new expansion getting released. Thank you guys, and I'll see all of you in the next one.